Good evening, guys. Yeah, we are just now getting some new information about the suspect in the case. We're going to break that down for you in just a second. But when you look around Ballwin, it is shocking that something like that would happen here. You're talking about just a beautiful city, a low crime rate. As a matter of fact, as you probably know, it's been named one of the safest cities in the entire country for the past several years. So when something like this happens in this community, especially to a police officer, well, it certainly rattles a lot of nerves. Here are the basics of what we know right now, and this all goes back to about 11 o'clock this morning. It all started at around 11. They say it was a routine police traffic stop by a Ballwin police officer. It was a speeding stop. At some point during that stop, the suspect got out of his car and then opened fire on the 9-year veteran of the force. We're hearing it was 3 shots, but we believe only 1 hit the officer. The suspect in that shooting is a convicted felon with a lengthy criminal record. He drove off from the scene there on New Ballwin Road. He eventually ditched the car on Burgundy Lane and was arrested after a short foot chase. The officer was taken to Mercy Medical Center, where he's listed in critical but stable condition. Now, here's what we now know about the suspect in this case. The suspect is Antonio Taylor. You see his mugshot right there. This was just released by police a few moments ago. He's 31 years old. As I said, he has a lengthy criminal rap sheet. And we also now know that he was a convicted felon and he had a semi-automatic handgun. The county prosecutor spoke about that just moments ago.
Charged him with assault of a law enforcement officer in the first degree, armed criminal action, and a felon in possession. The bond is set at $500,000 cash. He is in custody, of course, and I expect that he will be arraigned on Monday mornings.
Now, this entire incident happened in relatively a small area here. You're talking the initial incident on New Ballwin Road was about 1.5 miles that way. Where it all ended in a nice quiet neighborhood off 141 is about 1.5 miles that way. By road, we think it was about 4 miles, although we don't know the exact road he took from the start to the finish. But it was a short foot chase in a neighborhood that on a Friday, a beautiful Friday, would be normally quiet. Rocky Madden is there live with more on that story. Rocky.
Well, John, this is the neighborhood where the suspect Antonio Taylor was caught late around noontime today. Now, they had a great description of Taylor's car, not only from eyewitnesses who showed up on the scene to render aid to the officer, but also from the dash camera in the patrol car. Now, it came to an end just northwest of 141 and Manchester here on Burgundy Lane. Dozens of police cars went screaming into this neighborhood. There was a huge multi-jurisdictional response from departments far and wide. This after an officer spotted the suspect's blue Taurus and pursued him into the subdivision. The suspect jumped out of his car and ran for it. The officer quickly caught up with him and arrested him without incident. As you said, the suspect had a semi-automatic handgun. It was recovered a few doors away. You can imagine how jarring this was to the people who live in this neighborhood.
It was unbelievable. Flying up our street. Never have I ever seen anything like this around here in my life. And it was nonstop. And it was, you could smell the rubber burning and the brakes slamming on us.
And we just saw cop cars just flying in. And when they went up the hill, we knew something was wrong.
And there is the exact place where the suspect and his vehicle came to a stop. The mailbox there that was plowed into by the car, it is down on the ground. The suspect then took off, but it didn't take long for police to apprehend him. And as John said, he's now behind bars. Reporting live here in Manchester, Rocky Madden, Fox 2 News. John?
Thanks, Rocky. And once again, like we said, Rocky just about 1.5 miles behind me. Elliot Davis is about 1.5 miles that way, also in a relatively quiet area. It's New Ballwin Road, but you're talking an area where there's a middle school, also an elementary school. And he talked to people in that neighborhood to see how that all unfolded at the very beginning at around 11 o'clock. Elliot Davis, take it away.
Yes, John, indeed I did. It is a very quiet area. I have had a chance to talk to a lot of the neighbors around here. They are stunned and shocked that something like this could happen here. Now, the shooting happened right across the street from where I'm standing now. The crime scene has since been removed. The vehicle was towed away. Traffic along New Ballwin Road has reopened. But let me show you what the scene looked like just a few hours ago. Now, here you can see some video of the officer's patrol car. It was surrounded for hours after the shooting by detectives and evidence technicians as they search for clues to this shooting. Detectives spread out all across this area, searching for witnesses and just trying to find whatever evidence that they could find. As I said, it's a quiet neighborhood. Let's look at the view from Skyfox of it and where this all happened. It unfolded shortly after 11 o'clock. As you said, the officers stopped the suspect in a traffic stop. We don't know what words were exchanged, but we do know that the suspect opened fire on the officer. The officer went down. The suspect sped off. Neighbors are rushed out to the officer's aid to try to help him. They administered first aid and CPR. We're told one of the neighbors was a nurse. We're told that neighbors also called 911 and waited, of course, to give police a description of the suspect and his vehicle. I did talk to one of the residents that rushed to the aid of the wounded officer.
I just heard 2 shots fired. That was all.
And then what did you do after that?
I ran over to see if they needed help, and then I went back in my house and got towels and came back and put it on his neck until other officers arrived.
Did the officer, was he saying anything? Was he conscious?
No.
What's your reaction to what happened?
I just hope he's okay.
I know it's just got to be a shock. We talked to some of your neighbors, and they said it was a shock that it happened in a neighborhood like this.
Yeah. I mean, it's what the risk is when you're a police officer, and it's an awful risk that you take every day, and I respect them for that. My dad was a juvenile detective for a long time, so it's scary.
That is a sentiment that's echoed by almost everyone I talk to, that they are just stunned that something like this would happen in this neighborhood. I also heard, I have not confirmed, but that there may be a video of at least part of this incident that comes from a camera that was mounted on one of the homes here. We understand that video has been turned over to police. I went to try to talk to that homeowner, but he did not want to talk on camera. So right now in this Ballwin neighborhood, shock and disbelief that something like this would happen here on the heels of the tragedy in Dallas. John.
All right, thanks, Elliot. And let me take you back in time a little bit. When this first happened at around 11 o'clock this morning, you had police agencies from all over the area all converging on this area to offer assistance. And after the officer was taken to the hospital, many of those police agencies, the representatives from those agencies, ended up going to Mercy Medical Center there in Creve Coeur. Our team coverage continues. Fox 2's Kelly Hoskins is there live with that angle of the story this evening. Kelly.
John, the officer's fellow co-workers, along with his family members and various police officers from across the state, rushed here to the hospital after hearing the Ballwin police officer had been shot. We are told that the officer is currently in the intensive care unit after undergoing about 3 hours in surgery. The 9-year veteran Ballwin police officer was shot in the back after the suspect fired about 3 shots. Now, police are saying that the Ballwin officer was ambushed. The officer was rushed to Mercy Hospital in Creve Coeur by emergency workers. Family members, along with various neighboring law enforcement agencies, have been coming and going, offering support for the officer and his family. Officers we talk with at the hospital say it's what every officer family dreads to hear, an officer-involved shooting, especially when you hear the officer is the victim. The Ballwin Police Department is asking everyone to pray for the Ballwin Police Department and the officer's family. We talk with those who stopped by the hospital to offer support.
It really goes out to the family. It was a very tragic incident that really happened. I just pray and hope for everybody and hope he gets better. I hope he recovers from this. It was a tragic accident.
The officer is currently listed in critical but stable condition as he continues to fight for his life. Live in Creve Coeur, Kelly Hoskins, Fox 2 News. Back to you, John.
All right, thanks a lot, Kelly. And you know, I know a lot of people today, when they heard that this happened again in our community, they were thinking, oh my gosh, not here. When you think of Ballwin, you think of this. You think of the kids playing. You know, you have the swing sets back there. You don't think of a crime like this happening here. As I've mentioned a couple of times, Ballwin has been ranked for the past several years as one of the safest cities in the entire country. Crime rate is practically nothing. So I think that does shock a lot of people who live here. Reporting live in Ballwin today, I'm John Brown, Fox 2 News. Back to you guys in studio.
All right, great job, John. We appreciate you very much. We